I have a friend. I have named him Backstrom. I don't know why. Just kind of suits him. So, as promised, this is going to be a video about mental illness. And we're going to see if Backstrom hangs out with us the whole time and doesn't bite me or poop on me. You hear me? We're friends. We're buds. All right. So, having a mental illness can be fun at times. Well, depending on your mental illness, bipolar can be fun at times, or at least it seems like it is. But 98% of the time, it's shitty. It's really shitty. By the time I was 15, I was diagnosed with bipolar, which was manic depression back then, anxiety, OCD, ADHD, and insomnia. So I've been on all types of medications. And what sucks is when you find one that actually works and your doctor wants to try you on something else. Or you switch doctors and that doctor wants to put you on something else. I mean, I can't even count on both hands the amount of medications that I've tried, and there's only 3 that actually work. And the combination of those 3 is perfect to a point. You know, I still have my lows, I still have my anxiety. Unfortunately, my anxiety manifests physically and makes it so that I can't eat or talk or sleep or move because I'm in so much pain in my stomach, which that's not fun. But I looked up some numbers, and to me, they really seemed like they were, oh my God, where's the piece of paper? I have so many pieces of paper. Okay, it says that in the United States that 5.7 million people are diagnosed with bipolar. It says 40 million are diagnosed with anxiety. 42,773 people committed suicide in 2014 alone, and 1 in 6 Americans is on an antidepressant. To me, it sounds like that's a low number. I think either because people are misdiagnosed, they aren't diagnosed at all, or they can't afford insurance. And I mean, I know what that's like. Just one of my medications alone without insurance, the dose that I'm on is close to like $1,200. Just for 1 month. And so I definitely get that part of it. And, you know, a lot of people, they like to self-medicate. They'll take opiates or buy benzos or even harder drugs or even weed. You know, the only thing that I will self-medicate with is weed, because it does help with anxiety, and it does help with pain, and it does help with focus, you know, obviously depending on the strain that you get. But it's one of those things that, you know, it should be obviously legal across the board, but that's a whole other video. But I wanted to touch on things that, you know, I went through a couple weeks of a really, really, really bad bout of just the downs. I was exhausted all the time. I wasn't showering. I was lying in bed, bored, mind racing, and absolutely no motivation to do anything. I had to force myself to walk up to the Pokestop so I didn't mess with my fucking streak bonus. Yes, that is that important to me. But because you guaranteed a special item on the 7th day, all right? But I had to force myself to get up and go outside and go to that Pokestop. You know how far that is from where I am? Like a 2-minute walk. You know, I walked further today because I was determined to go further today, you know, and I have an amazing boyfriend who is very inspirational and, you know, gives me ideas and helps me. And, you know, so far taking his advice has been pretty fucking badass. And look who's still with me. Oh, he's so cute. But anyway, so I don't know. I think I'm finally starting to get back in tune with nature, and I'm getting back into my music. Like, I'm listening to music almost like it feels like the first time. You know, mental illness and an abusive relationship do not mix very well. And until I got divorced and spent 2 years finding myself, I felt like my mental illness was like 3 times worse because of that relationship. So, I mean, it's completely out of my mind now. Like, I am so over it and gotten such awesome closure from it that it's amazing. And once you find like one thing that you can accomplish that you just really didn't think you could about yourself, that's when you start to grow. That's when you start to realize, hey, I can do this, and you start developing coping skills. You know, for me, if I'm feeling anxious and I don't have my meds with me, I turn on The Office, because that show is a comfort to me. You know, maybe you like to have your back scratched, or, oh, the best feeling in the world is when someone runs their fingers through my hair. That immediately makes me feel safe and just calm, because my mom used to do it when we would go to church. Yes, I used to go to church. I would put my head in her lap and she would just run her fingers through my hair, and it reminds me of a simpler time. So, you know, just find things like that can help you. And I'm gonna give you a really big tip right now, and I'm gonna tell you, do not tell your coworkers you are bipolar. Do not tell your coworkers you have anxiety, especially your bosses. I was passed over, I should say, many times because I was seen as unstable, and they're not allowed to ask. First of all, if you have an ADA accommodation, obviously they're going to need to know that you have something. But, you know, I found myself hard pressed getting any type of promotion or raise or really being taken seriously with management experience because they knew I was bipolar. So it sucks. We need to fix it. We need to bring back asylums, I think. I think that, you know, releasing patients back in the 60s was the start of an extremely bad pandemic. Damn, this video is 7 minutes already. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, you got to find what works for you. And if you can get by without medication, get by, but don't feel like you're weak if you need the medication. You know, that's the hardest part, I think, to get over. For me, at least, you know, I was crying at my psychiatrist telling him I don't want to rely on medication for the rest of my life, you know, but I know what I'm like when I don't have it. And, you know, maybe I can go into more detail in another video, but this one's already getting a little long. So, I don't know. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm going to hang out here with Backstrom for a little bit, maybe do a little singing. And, oh yeah, as you can tell, I have a new piercing. I don't have the actual, like, ring for, I did it myself and I didn't have the ring. I only had, like, the eyebrow rings. So I have to wait till I get new nose jewelry, but hopefully it stays. But, I don't know. I'm glad you guys are still with me, and hopefully I won't disappoint, and I'll be bringing more videos, a lot more. I love y'all.